Tartaria, the empire erased from time. Have you ever wondered if everything you've been taught about world history is a lie? What if I told you that there was once a highly advanced civilization spanning continents that wielded free energy, built impossible architecture, and then vanished from the pages of history? No textbooks mention it, no documentaries are made about it, and yet traces of it still remain, hidden in plain sight. This is the story of Tartaria, or as some call it, the Lost Empire of the North, a forgotten civilization that, according to suppressed maps, ruled over much of Asia, Russia, and even parts of North America, an empire whose technologies may have rivaled or even surpassed our own, a civilization possibly wiped out by a global reset, followed by deliberate historical erasure. Welcome to the Time Titans Network, and prepare yourself for a journey into one of the greatest historical mysteries ever whispered across time. Every city has its secrets, from Moscow's towering Kremlin to the intricate domes of Istanbul, from the Baroque palaces of Vienna to the mysterious Greco-Roman architecture scattered across America. There's a style, a theme, a pattern: grand stone buildings, perfect arches, giant doors, magnificent domes, technology-defying beauty. And curiously, they all appear to be built by a civilization that had mastered free energy, sacred geometry, and resonant frequencies. But here's the twist. Many of these buildings, according to mainstream history, were constructed in the 1700s or 1800s by horse and carriage societies, using tools less advanced than what we have today. How? How did humans with no electricity, no cranes, no modern tools construct buildings that modern engineers still struggle to replicate? That's the first clue, the architecture that shouldn't exist. Let's rewind. Not 100 years. Not 500 years, but deeper. The word Tartaria appears across dozens of old maps, dating as far back as the 15th century. These maps, created by explorers, scholars, and cartographers from Europe, Asia, and the Islamic world, depict a massive empire labeled Tartary, spanning from Eastern Europe across Siberia and deep into China and the Arctic. Some maps even show regions of North America labeled Tartaria or Great Tartary. This was not a small tribe. This was not a local kingdom. This was described as an empire, vast, complex, and powerful. In fact, maps from as late as the 1800s in European encyclopedias, including British sources, still referred to Tartary as an existing region. But today, the name is gone. You won't find Tartaria on Google Maps. Modern textbooks dismiss it as a vague term used for unknown areas of Asia. The people, the cities, the culture, completely erased. Why? Some researchers believe the answer lies in what they call the Great Reset. According to this theory, a massive worldwide catastrophe occurred sometime in the 1800s. The cause? Unknown. Some say it was a global war. Others believe it was a mud flood, a mysterious disaster that buried entire cities in thick layers of mud. Others still believe it was an atmospheric or energetic event caused by tampering with technologies beyond our understanding. The result? Civilization collapsed. Millions died. Knowledge was lost. And when the survivors emerged, a new historical narrative was written. A narrative that erased Tartaria. And the mud flood? Let's talk about that. Across the world, too, in London, Moscow, Paris, New York, St. Louis, even Lahore and Delhi, too, there are buildings with buried floors, streets where windows exist below ground level, entrances that lead into basements that were once full floors, entire structures where the bottom half is entombed in dirt and mud. Mainstream historians call this two urban development 2, or two changing street levels pot 2. But researchers of Tartaria believe it nines evidence of a global mud flood. 2, an event that swallowed cities overnight, burying the old world under layers of debris. Why would so many buildings, built supposedly in the 18th and 19th centuries, have first floors underground? Why were so many ancient cities dug out too rather than built up? And most importantly, who built them in the first place? Let's now explore what might be the most fascinating aspect of Tartaria: its technology. Many of the buildings associated with this lost empire, particularly those with large domes and metallic spires, are believed by some to have been energy collectors. devices that could draw power from the ether, the ambient electromagnetic field around Earth. Sound crazy? Not if you know about Nikola Tesla. In the late 1800s, Tesla experimented with wireless energy transmission, claiming he could power cities with no wires at all. He built massive towers that closely resembled the spires seen in old Tartarian buildings. Coincidence? Maybe. But perhaps Tesla wasn't inventing. He was rediscovering something lost. Researchers point to world fairs held in the late 1800s and early 1900s, where entire cities were constructed, seemingly overnight, using temporary materials. The architecture was often classical, grand, and identical to Tartarian style. And then the cities were destroyed, burned to the ground, erased again. It's not just the buildings. There's a strange consistency in symbols, from the spirals and domes of St. Basil's Cathedral in Moscow, to the geometrical perfection of Islamic mosques, to the floor patterns of cathedrals and temples. These weren't just artistic choices. Many believe they were part of a harmonic blueprint, designs meant to resonate with natural frequencies, healing vibrations, and cosmic alignments. In other words, the architecture itself was alive, functional, energetic. This level of knowledge requires understanding sound, vibration, magnetism, and astronomy, far beyond what mainstream history credits ancient societies with. And yet, if Tartaria existed, it makes sense. So if Tartaria was real, why erase it? The answer may lie in the consolidation of global power. During the 1800s, colonial empires were rising. Britain, France, Spain, and others began carving up the world. But if a powerful civilization already existed, one not under Western control, then the colonial narrative falls apart. It was easier to erase Tartaria than to explain it. School books were rewritten, maps were redrawn, new histories were published, and the survivors of the old world? Assimilated, silenced, forgotten. It's no coincidence that in the same time period, massive fires occurred in cities worldwide, from Chicago to Boston, from San Francisco to Toronto. These fires conveniently destroyed the old architecture, and with it, evidence of a different past. Today, all that remains of Tartaria are whispers and ruins, gigantic doors that no normal human could use, buildings buried in mud, forgotten maps, architectural blueprints with no known builders. Maybe Tartaria was a myth, maybe it was a misunderstood empire, or maybe it was the key to a forgotten golden age where energy was free, buildings were sacred, and humanity lived in harmony with the earth. The greatest trick they ever pulled was convincing us it never existed. But now we remember. If this story stirred your curiosity, share it. Dig deeper, question what you've been told, because history is not always written by the victors. Sometimes it's rewritten by those who fear the truth. This is the Time Titans Network. Subscribe for more hidden histories, forbidden knowledge, and stories they don't want you to hear. Until next time, stay curious. What can we learn from Tartaria if it truly existed? Perhaps it is an invitation to reconnect with our own histories, to sift through the ancient sands for truths long buried. After all, isn't it the unexamined chapters of humanity that hold the most wonder and potential? Consider the stories yet untold, the monuments unvisited, the mystery embedded within every stone. Perhaps the legacy of Tartaria beckons us not just to uncover the past, but to envision a future where the wisdom of old aligns with modern innovation.